for performing their role so admirably and be so beautiful throughout the day again. I think everyone else has said it. There's another one, Steve and Lynn. It's their 28th wedding anniversary. I'd also like to say that Rachel, you're looking absolutely stunning today. And Simon was looking absolutely stunned. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe at this juncture that it is customary for the best man to slaughter the groom. However, to reflect the equal status of women in the world, I thought it appropriate to break the tradition and instead talk about the brides. Are you really, Rachel? I was unable to dig up anything on you. So I'll do that as a tradition after all. The nice thing about being a best man is you never have to prove it. In fact, this is the first time that I have had the dubious honour of being asked to be the best man.
And the last.
So are you sure that everyone else refused you? So not being completely au fait with protocol, I asked a chap sitting next to me on the plane on the way here if he had any tips. He said, just remember one thing. The best man's speech should never last longer than it takes the groom to make love, I think. I have plenty of stories about Simon, having been best friends with him since we were 13 years old. Unfortunately, none of them would be appropriate for this occasion. Plus, Simon begged me to lock the skeletons firmly in the cupboard. However, the cupboard wasn't large enough to contain all of them. For those of you present who may not know Simon that well, I shall endeavour to give you a potted and much censored history of the man himself. Born on the 12th of April 1973, which was a particularly significant year in history, as I also happened to be born that year. I have also been told that Britain experienced one of the hottest summers on record, which apparently greatly reduced the IQs of all children born. Apart from me. However, Simon did manage to get into school. And although I did my level best over the years to get us out, Simon was a bit of a teacher's pet, especially with our homosexual English teacher, Joe. Somehow we both scraped through. Thank you, Simon, for the sacrifices you made. We've often travelled together, but it was only when we were 16 that our parents allowed us out without them. So we decided to cycle around Brittany for 2 weeks. What an idea. We bought new bikes and planned our trip meticulously in preparation for an epic journey of nigh on 500 kilometres. Unfortunately, things didn't go quite to plan. We disembarked the ferry bursting with excitement with the prospect of all the cultural wonders that France had to offer, only to ride 10 kilometres and pitch our tents next to a nightclub in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it was 3 weeks. It was exhausting. This kind of set the tone for all our further holidays together. After school, we decided to spend a month interrailing across Europe, a rite of passage for our friendship, if you will. I was originally asked the question, if I was Superman, what would be my kryptonite? Well, I would probably have to say chicks. But for Simon, it's most definitely cars. And this I discovered on our trip and exploited brazenly and without remorse. Whenever there was a decision to be made or a chore to be done, we would play cards for it, and Simon would always lose. I enjoyed the sights and sounds of Europe, that Europe had to offer an 18-year-old boy as myself. and I deliberately emit smells here because of Simon's pungent feet. It was the only memory I have. And Simon enjoyed the warm and soapy experience of a variety of sinks across the campsites of Central Europe washing dishes. Simon and I have often gone to scrapes together over the years. We've crashed mopeds, we've been mugged, we narrowly avoided being sexually molested by a rather large prostitute in Amsterdam. Not shame. That's what I do. Come to think of it, Simon, you're a bloody jinx, mate. When we were young, we chased a lot of girls together, and I know that it's also traditional to mention the number of ex-girlfriends that the room has had.
If there were any.
Well, I'll have you know. But I believe that this is a bit of a vulgar and offensive expression, and I don't want to offend the bride here. So suffice to say that Simon, that 84 turned out to be a lucky number, mate, after all. Anyway. Having studied geography at university, Simon was obviously a little confused as to what other job opportunities existed out there in the big wide world, aside from becoming a weather bill on ITV. So he did what every right-minded male specimen does when in doubt. He ran away. To Canada, that is. It was only the magnetic lure of Birmingham and the final realization that he could no longer deny his destiny to sell insurance policies over the phone. The truth of it is that my then girlfriend had moved out of our place and I needed a housemate quickly to help with the rent. So I made Simon an offer he couldn't refuse. I'd get him a job for minimum wage if he slept on my floor and paid me half the rent. We took it with a smile.
So what?
I suppose Birmingham turned out to be Simon's Bermuda Triangle without the Barry Manilow. And he has never been able, he's never been able to find his way out of the bloody place, even though he's had an education in geography. And fortuitous for Rachel. Simon has already spoken of his romantic proposal to Rachel in Cape Town earlier this year. What he omitted to mention was that this was actually a bit of an accident. For after the ordeal of the 4-hour climb up Table Mountain at a midday temperature of about 40 degrees centigrade, Simon collapsed to his knees and gasped, "Will you carry me?" Before I left Cape Town, I asked my uncle if he had any wise words on marriage, and he looked at me with a tear in his eye and said, "You know, I never knew happiness until I got married, and then it was too late." I haven't known Rachel long, but almost everything I've heard, so I'm the lucky man to be marrying her today. Seriously, Simon and I have tasted a lot of what life has to offer together, and I'm proud today to be his best friend and his best man. He's someone that I could always rely on, have fun with, and absolutely never question his integrity, apart from a couple of occasions. Anyway, hello, Rachel. I've just got to turn to a couple of cards. I think that's also customary here. We've got one from Australia. Dear Simon and Rachel, our congratulations to you both on this very big day in your lives. May you both always be as happy as you are today, and we wish you both many years of good health, or wealth, I can't read that. Love and happiness and mateship together, or I'm Mr. Australian. All our love and best wishes, Max and Barb. I think that's Simon's cousins. We've got one here to Simon. We could have made a great couple, from your Joey, your old English teacher. I got a letter as well. Simon, mon amour. It has been so difficult to track you down over the past few years. I hope that you're enjoying Birmingham. You'll be glad to know that we have now settled in Paris, and little Simon is growing bigger. As you know, lap dancing is a tough life. And we're a little short of money at the moment, so if you have some spare euros, Virginie.
What was the name on the first card?
Max and Bob.
You said Bob.
But my final duty today is to toast the bride and groom say one thing. Simon and Rachel. About to say. May your love be modern enough to survive the times and old-fashioned enough to last forever.